All right, space weather. Looking at the sun in 304 angstroms. Some interesting filamentary activity going on. Some interesting solar wind activity. And some interesting magnetic coupling, which looks quite strong. We'll check it out in a minute, but let's look at some other stats first. First of all, head to solarham.net and note that there are still no sunspots. Head to spaceweathernews.com. Let's have a quick peek at the sun in 193 angstroms. Go ahead, play. Play. I don't know if it's going to play. There we go. All right, so pretty sure the magnetic connection from this northern coronal hole is already in place, and it looks very powerful. We're going to get into it in a minute. Now, looking at the X-ray flux, we are noticing that there's a disparity between the data from the GOES 15 and the GOES 14. You can see there's a little bit of flaring activity in here. It's very weak, but this indicates that the one satellite is receiving different data than the other one, obviously. So there's been a couple quick X-ray bursts. Now the phi angle is still all over the place, but we do believe that is trying to close into the 270 mark, which would be the northern coronal hole. Solar wind is staying elevated in terms of speed, but it is very low in terms of density. Now, the magnetometer, as we said yesterday, got almost all the way up to 150 nanotesla. Not a smooth curve at all. We're getting a jagged curve. So it should be interesting to see how high this goes. Our prediction is that that's going to go over 150 nanotesla because of the extremely powerful magnetic field force lines associated with that northern coronal hole. KP is down to 2. A little bit of a break in the electron flux. So we're keeping an eye on that. We'd like to see what that's going to do next. The coronal hole wind stream from the departing coronal hole on the eastern limb does not appear to be really sending a whole lot of particle. Must be a very weak coronal wind stream, and possibly it's affected by the magnetism of the northern coronal hole. Not exactly sure there, but keeping an eye on the electron flux. If this suddenly dips down, that's an indication that the coronal wind stream is increasing in intensity, but we're not really expecting that to happen because it should already be here. Charging hazards have dropped down considerably, so that's a good thing because the electron storm levels are not where they were. And the F2 ionosphere layer is pretty charged, although not like last night when it was all the way up to 14 megahertz. Now, here's what we were looking at as far as the northern coronal hole. Looks a little bit jumbled. Let me get a better view here. Let's look at it in 171 angstroms so you can see the sun in the background a little better. See, all those electromagnetic field force lines are kind of pointing at you right now. And that's why we believe that the northern coronal hole has magnetically connected, which it did yesterday when there was that big spike in the magnetometer. Let's go back to 304 angstroms, take a look at some filaments. There's that persistent one we saw yesterday. And it's gone. A lot of filamentary activity on the southeastern limb there. Pretty interesting. So keep an eye on that electron flux and that magnetometer. Don't accept any wooden nickels. And please like, subscribe the videos, and don't forget to hit up our Minds page. If you don't have a Minds.com account yet, head to Minds.com/smashomash. you may view some content that we have yet to post on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have a delightful day. Don't take any wooden nickels.